How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another video. And let me just tell you, what I have to say is going to blow your minds. Now, for Sony camera enthusiasts such as myself, if you have the A1, A9, FX3, FX30, FX6, and I think maybe the FX9, basically there's a new product that just dropped that is blowing up, but no one's talking about it yet, so I figured I'd be one of the first ones to do it. Now, in order to understand why this is so insane, first we have to start from the beginning. I first got my hands on the FX30, which used CFexpress Type A cards. Now, these cards I had never really encountered before. They were a whole new type of medium for me, but basically think of it as a smaller and chubbier version of the regular SD card. The only problem is, the only company that was making them was Sony, so it was proprietary, which means they can kind of charge whatever they want. So take this 80 gigabyte CFexpress Type A card. Look at the little guy, so tiny. So this card right here costs $169 US for 80 gigabytes, which honestly doesn't even do a whole lot, because when you do the math, if you're recording in XAVCSI, which most people would like to, you're only getting about 40 or so minutes per card, which is crazy to think of. If you record in 60 frames per second, or heaven forbid 120, you're getting like 12 or 10 minutes per card. And these are 169 a pop. So what are you to do? Well, you could go up in size for your cards, but it only gets exponentially more expensive. The 160 gig, which is a step up from this one, is $400 doonies. No thank you. I don't know about you, but I have a lot more things that I can be able to invest $400 in, like lighting or 401k perhaps. But I already bought the 80 gig cards, so unfortunately I kind of just had to roll with them because it was the only card I was willing to put money down on. So I would record, dump all my footage onto an SD card, format it, go back out and shoot again, which was pretty time consuming. Fast forward a little bit, I pick up the FX6 because now I want to get into full-blown documentary and short film creation, on top of YouTube videos, of course. But now the XI format that the FX6 uses burns through these cards even faster. So now I have to pretty much upgrade, but I don't want to drop $400 on 160 gigabyte cards. As I was contemplating whether or not I was just gonna have to switch systems altogether, AngelBird comes to the rescue, like a literal angel. Except in this case, we're talking about the card manufacturer. Bam. AngelBird CFexpress Type A card, 1 terabyte. Oh, and here's a little card. Look at them. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the AngelBird looks a lot nicer than the Sony one, if I'm going to be 100% honest here. I think it looks more aesthetically pleasing. What makes this so amazing is that for a terabyte, you're only paying $500. Now, of course, I know that's a lot of money, and a lot of you are probably going to look at me and say, why on earth would I ever spend $500 on a card? Well, I wouldn't really want to do it, but it's from the perspective of what the alternative is, which is Sony cards. And when you look at it like that, this is actually a pretty good deal. For one, the AngelBird cards are actually a little bit faster than the Sony ones, the OG Sony ones. The Sony can go up to 800 megabytes read, 700 megabytes write. AngelBird, 820 and 730. It's a very small amount, but just one-upping it at that. And then, of course, we have to look at the cost, the price. This was $169. $500. Now that seems like a pretty drastic jump in price, but if we look at the next step up in Sony card lines, The 160 gig one is $400, like I said before. So for an extra $100, you're getting almost 10 times the amount of storage. As a matter of fact, it would take about 6 Sony 160 gig CFexpress Type A cards to match the storage of this 1 terabyte card. And if you're trying to compare terabyte to terabyte, the highest Sony goes up to is 640 gigabytes, and that's $1,200. I'm just saying, I know which one I'm gonna go for. And to break it down even more, just to get the point across, if we're looking at price per gigabyte, the Sony CFexpress Type A card, the OG, the proper proprietary card, is $2.50 per gigabyte. Meanwhile, AngelBird is 50 cents per gigabyte. You're literally saving 5 times the amount of money, or better yet, you're getting 5 times more storage for the exact same price when you compare everything together. And on top of that, AngelBird also has a really dope metal case that they sell for $80 that can hold 4 of their cards. And look, again, I know at the end of the day, a lot of you are probably going to be like, I can't bear the idea of spending $500 on a single card, which is fair. And don't forget the rule that if you have to have some kind of redundancy, if you don't have 2 cards, you don't have any cards. So that's $1,000 for 2 terabytes or 2 little pieces of plastic. Well, hold on a second. This is about how much it costs in order to get your hands on 2 of these cards, which is quite a bit of money. And yes, if you're wondering, it is in fact euro. I do live in Europe. I live in Germany. But I go by US prices on everything when I'm talking about stuff because of the fact that I think VAT is nothing more than propaganda. I'm sorry. Paying an extra 20% just to buy something that's not food is dumb. But I digress. When it comes to the realm of cinema cameras, especially for Sony, this is still a relatively new type of card. So much so that it wasn't until maybe a week ago that these cards actually came to fruition, were talked about in press, and then actually released. I didn't find out about them until last Friday, so it's just an expensive and new type of card. So it really sucks that we have to pay these prices now, but hopefully they'll get cheaper in the end, or maybe Sony will stop being dummies and just accept CFexpress Type B, which is like half the price of these cards. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I'm saying it here and I'm saying it now as a Sony fanboy. If you have the Sony A1, A9, FX3, FX30, A7S3, or FX6, don't get the Sony branded cards. Don't bother. You're just paying way too much money for them. And AngelBird was able to easily just show how much we're paying for simply nothing more than proprietary cards. So if you can, go for the Angel CFexpress Type A card. If you can't, I understand. Maybe go for the 80 gig one, the cheapest one Sony has, and then save up your money until you can get your hands on it. Because I'm telling you right now, if you go for the Sony, you're just wasting your money. So with that being said, that's all I have to say for today. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, even if you're shooting on an iPhone, because iPhones are pretty cool. Peace out.